Hello and welcome to the Faith Report, bringing you your daily videos and those Christian news bites you won't find in mainstream media. Corporal punishment in schools has been a widely debated issue after a recent incident in a Christian academy in Florida. Last November, Terence Gray, a senior pastor at St. Mark AME Church in Orlando, allegedly walked into a 4th grade classroom, asked which students had misbehaved, and then struck 16 students 3 times, each with a belt. Some children were left with bruises. Understandably, many parents were deeply concerned when they learned about the incident. One parent withdrew her child, stating, "I don't send him to school to be abused." An investigation was launched, but the state attorney's office recently announced that Pastor Gray will not face criminal charges. Prosecutors determined that, while his actions were questionable, Pastor Gray likely believed he had the authority to use corporal punishment based on an old version of the school's handbook. The updated handbook apparently prohibits corporal punishment, but Gray claimed that he was unaware of the change. Florida law gives school personnel broad authority to maintain discipline within the scope of parental expectations based on their interpretation of the law. Prosecutors felt that they could not prove Pastor Gray intended to cause physical harm to students. This controversial incident has revived debate around the use of corporal punishment in schools. 19 states, including Florida, still allow it in public schools. Supporters point to Bible verses like Proverbs 13:24, which states, "Whoever spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to discipline them." They argue corporal punishment teaches respect, obedience, and deters future misbehaviour when used correctly. Critics counter that corporal punishment teaches violence, breeds resentment, and can damage self-esteem. The American Academy of Pediatrics strongly opposes it, citing research that shows negative impacts on pupils and mental health. Many argue that discipline should be grounded in restorative practices focused on teaching rather than punishment. Christians also differ on their perspectives. Some emphasise scriptural teachings about sparing the rod and correcting with gentleness. Others believe corporal punishment aligns with biblical principles for discipline. Parents hold varying views based on their cultural backgrounds and personal experiences. There are also debates around whether parents should have the right to opt out of school corporal punishment if policies should differ between public and private schools, and what forms of discipline are truly beneficial for children. As a child, I was punished once or twice with a belt, but despite that, I believe I've grown into a reasonably well-adjusted adult. So I don't view corporal punishment as inevitably damaging. However, I personally have chosen not to use physical discipline on our own child. Not because I think it's necessarily cruel, but because we believe it's unnecessary if a proper foundation is laid. We've found that other forms of discipline focused on communication, natural consequences, and the restraint of privileges to be more effective at teaching our daughter right from wrong. But saying that, I can't promise that things won't change in the future. Of course, I fully understand that every child and situation is different. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep the faith.